Hello everybody, Protofoxy coming back at you with another video. We got the nostalgia train still rolling here as we are doing the turntable here. You're getting a look at four very cool toys from about 20 years ago now. I'm going to talk to you all about what I feel is probably the Unicron Trilogy's best mold that they released. Probably one of my favorite toys in the, for the whole Unicron Trilogy, and being that we're, knee deep in the 20th anniversary of those particular toy lines, which would be Armada, Energon, Cybertron, and even a bit of Universe, because that kind of falls in line with it, because that was the era of stuff that was released. And we're going to take a look at the Deluxe Optimus Prime mold, or the Bendy Prime mold. And it was a toy so nice they released it more than twice. This is again what I feel is one of the Unicron Trilogy's best molds, and they actually, I believe they released it more times than what I have here. I have 4 different versions of it. I believe they did another one where it was painted up in almost Generation 1 colors, but right here, the first one, and we're just going to talk about all of them, transform them, kind of go over them, because it's a lot of fun. But, we got Armada Prime here, we have Armada Nemesis Prime here, we have Universe Ultra Magnus here, and then we have Cybertron Optimus Prime here, different deco, which is all really cool. We'll just kind of transform them and talk about them. Real basic, transforming figure, but it was a really good, affordable approximation of the Armada Prime mold. And then this one, I believe, because they did a running change for Armada, where they put the Autobot symbol on the hood here. This, I believe, is the first version, and then the running change was the Autobot symbol there, and you can see the Autobot symbol and Decepticon symbol on Nemesis Prime on the hood. That's where they would have placed it. But this was just a really good toy, a different minicon. You'll see when we get to the Cybertron one, I had an extra spark plug, but integrates into the vehicle mode with port. His minicon overrun, real cool little jet minicon, and also serves as a target master, and we'll transform that as well. But so we had, becomes a target master like weapon, obviously approximation of his blaster rifle, because it had this stuff sitting up here. It mimics the design. But yeah, he got the little jet here, and we'll only transform this mold once because it's all the same. And I mean, outside of transforming all the other primes, because those are all the same. But you get a neat little minicon, and I believe the legs separate too, if I recall correctly. Yeah, they do. The only real articulation is just the arms moving forward, but typical minicon stuff. But his whole point is to be Optimus Prime's weapon. And we will go ahead and transform the first release of the mold, Optimus Prime, in it. Real easy, real basic stuff here. Come on. Let's, and I just transformed these not too long ago. Maybe you have to separate the legs and then pull them down. There we go. So boom, legs extend, feet flip down, put the side skirts down. Go ahead and bring the, and he transforms almost like, or transforms just about like, I want to say there's, all the steps are the same as the Armada Big Brother, but we get a closer, what I feel is a closer take on the animation model, especially with the head sculpt and stuff like that. But there he is. Pretty basic, but just really good looking. And has it's funny because for the time, this was, they called it Bendy Prime, because he was super articulated. Things on ball joints everywhere, nice knee joints. They're ball jointed feet, or no, those are actually on a rocker. So really one of the first appearances of like a rocker, but this was getting like kind of better articulation and stuff like that out of the Armada toy line, because Armada was more set up for gimmicks and stuff like that. But we got the, articulation that people were kind of asking for from Beast Wars and RID 2001. And then we have his Minicon, serves as his weapon. And just a really great looking, Optimus Prime, really great looking Optimus Prime, super articulated, stuff like that. Just a really good figure. This was highly regarded back then, and articulation that you wouldn't see again until the mid 2010s when they kind of standardized certain things. But this was really good, and yeah, he even has waist rotation and stuff like that. He did, like all Armada figures, have a really goofy Minicon gimmick. It was supposed to simulate punching, but it's more shoulder shimmy. He's like, just shoulder shimmying. So we don't do that. And that exists on every version of the mold. But, this was the first release, Armada Prime. And again, for people who weren't able to spend the $40 at the time, think about that, $40 for a leader class toy, couldn't spend $40 at the time, you got a really, really good Optimus Prime at the $10 price point. And then we got Nemesis Prime here, which is a black redeco. Obviously not the first time we saw the black redeco of Optimus Prime. That happened in RID 01 for Black Convoy / Scourge. But Nemesis Prime became well known as like a evil Unicron created clone. Come on, there we go. And again, just looks really cool. And this was actually, for Armada, the only Nemesis Prime release. They never did a leader class version, so we didn't get one with a trailer. We just had the deluxe toy. All the same stuff applies, all the same articulation stuff, even though I believe maybe there might have been a bit of mold degradation because the head kind of tilts off to the side and never really straightens up on the ball joint. I'm sure somebody can get in there, shave some things down, stuff like that, to get it to sit correctly. But really cool, evil looking Optimus Prime. And this was the second use of the mold. Looking really good there. And again, like I said, all the stuff applies. All the great articulation, stuff like that. And then we come over to Universe 1.0, Universe 2003, whatever you want to call it. He came, and I have another video I'm working on with another Unicron Trilogy mold that he was released with, I believe. I can't remember if it was Oil Slick or Tread Shop, but either way, we're going to be talking about that mold in another video. But it was released in the Battle of the Box set, and I believe they were exclusive to either Kmart or Kohl's. I don't recall, but we got Ultra Magnus, which is, your typical white, blue and white Optimus Prime repaint. Again, transforms same way. It's the same toy, so you're going to see this transformation 4 times. But one of the things with the Ultra Magnus mold and further molds after, or further redecos of the Armada Bendy Prime, Deluxe Prime mold after the release of Nemesis Prime, was the arms were misassembled. So you put that up there and you'll notice, we'll go back to Nemesis Prime because he's right here, that there is a groove right there in the forearm to make the elbows work. And these were misassembled, and this happens for every version of the mold since the Nemesis Prime release, where those grooves were actually assembled backwards. You could actually, and I've never done it, I may do it in the future, I haven't decided yet. These toys are sold, I may just leave them alone. But some people were able to crack open the forearms and switch the pieces around and make the elbows usable instead of being reversed. I mean, with a ball joint, I mean, the elbows don't bend. Well, yeah, they're not great. You have to kind of shift the forearm, the sliding forearm piece around to make the elbow work, and obviously it goes over the hand, so making him hold his weapon doesn't work as well. But, and for a while I actually just switched The forearms, I just popped them off of the ball joint and then switched them around. The hands were backwards, so he couldn't hold his weapon properly. This, that, and the other thing. And again, you'll notice, I believe with mold degradation, the head tilting to one side, being hampered. You know, he looks up, but his head is kind of tilted. But the deco for Ultra Magnus, Universe Ultra Magnus, works really well. It's really cool for that whole white Optimus Prime look. And then we get to Cybertron Optimus Prime, and this is, you know, a redeco. And then I mentioned I had an extra spark plug. I don't know how I ended up with this extra spark plug minicon, but have them, so I just gave him to this Prime, and he just sits there. He didn't come with the Overrun minicon. He did come with the Cyberplanet key, which was altered, so you have a minicon port to work with his gimmick, and I also had, if you can see that right there, did have the little codes that worked with the website in the early internet days. You know, now everything's just QR codes, but again, you know, just a redeco of the mold. Transforms and acts and does everything just like all the other ones. And this one, again, much like the Magnus and any further release, because I don't even think they corrected it for I think the last release they did of this mold, which was him decoed in a G1 Prime paint scheme. They didn't fix the... Ow. Damn it. Yeah, so for old toys, these are incredibly... There we go. And surprisingly enough, all the joints hold up and stuff like that. And everything's still really tight. And then it just kind of goes to show you the engineering and the plastic quality and stuff back in the early 2000s during the Unicron Trilogy. These toys were really substantial. And there we have this Optimus Prime. And again, you know, this one I actually feel like the head maybe... No, I think they might have corrected the head tilt. This one seems like it's straighter. Nah, it still kind of cocks off to a side, but it's not as extreme. And of course, you know, the cyber key with the minicom port gives him his shoulder shimmy. You know, it's supposed to be punching, but it's not punching. But yeah, he just came with the Cyberplanet key. He did not come with any minicons. That's why I gave him the extra spark plug. Yeah, you can see the head is kind of cocking to the side. But the paint scheme, you know, has hints of the actual Cybertron, the big Cybertron Optimus Prime. And again, this was done for a budget option, even though he's basically Armada Prime. But, you know, you had the black around the headlights and stuff, the white around the windshield. That's stuff he had, you know, bits of red here and there, extra bits of red. And I actually like how this paint scheme works a little better on this one. I mean, obviously, you know, the Armada version right here is the best because it's the most accurate and it just looks just phenomenal. But I do like this paint scheme on this one here. I think he looks really good. It's kind of a nice alternate take. But again, you know, modern, what has now become the modern standard of articulation for Transformers. This was done in originally 2003. And just such a great mold. So much so that I had to buy it at least 4 times. I think technically I 5 times because I bought and had in the package for a long time, and I've given it to my son. The running change with the Autobot symbol, I kept them in the package, but the turnaround gave them to my son. So I actually bought this mold 5 times, but great toy. And it's still, I don't believe, super expensive to get the Armada Bendy Prime anymore. I'm going to straighten out this planet key here, just so it's sitting correctly. This one I feel like, looking up on eBay, I think the Deluxe Prime for Cybertron, I think he's relatively expensive now. But this, I think you can still get either version of, like the running change with the Autobot symbol was very sought after when this released. But now, not so much, it doesn't matter. But I think you can get this one relatively cheap, which I will say I recommend you do so. This is a great toy, by the way. Nemesis Prime, I think, is fairly inexpensive. Armada Nemesis Prime is fairly inexpensive. Magnus, I don't think I've looked up, but he was also a not quite a Market 6 exclusive, but he was definitely a store exclusive, so he might be a bit more on the expensive side in the secondary, just because maybe it was a bit more desirable. It wasn't as widely available. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me. I'll have to look it up. I didn't look it up, but I know he was exclusive to a store. I don't recall if this particular set was exclusive to Kmart or Kohl's, but one of those stores. But yeah, all in all, just wanted to talk about this, and I'm going to be doing that a bit more on the channel, talking about older figures, because I'm feeling relatively nostalgic, so y'all are going to take that nostalgic ride with me. But this is a great mold. If you can get your hands on it for a decent price, expensively, you probably go for the Armada Prime one here, because that's probably the cheapest. But it's just cool, and this, you know, for the time in 2003, was very it was very well regarded. It was considered to be the elite standard as far as Transformer toys were, because when Armada released, they focused more on playability and gimmicks as opposed to posability and accuracy. So we got some, you know, different, and one I'm going to be talking about in another video. But it was more about the gimmicks and the playability over screen accuracy and posability. So they were more toys instead of being display piece action figure type things. But it's great. You know, definitely a well-regarded and classic figure in the line, and it holds up even today. Like every single one of these, you know, and maybe one day I'll pop the forearms open to fix the elbows on the later releases, but it still holds up. This is a great toy. You know, to this day, it's got the playability, it's got the gimmicks, it's got the posability. Everything about them is just great. So I definitely recommend them. And, you know, feeling nostalgic and stuff like that, definitely can't go wrong with Bendy Prime. And with that all being said, I will leave you all with this. If you liked it, give it a like. If you did, shoot subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you like being on this nostalgia trip with me, because I'm feeling very nostalgic for older toys lately. And so we're gonna be talking about some. All that being said, be kind to yourselves and your fellow human beings, because life is just too short to play on, and I'll see you all in the next video.